We're going live.
Are we going?
In 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
To the crystals right here, and welcome to another episode of the O.N.E podcast. Round of applause. We made it to episode 5, baby. That's an accomplishment for me, honestly. If you don't celebrate it, it's your business. I do not care. Episode 5, the golden number. We have successfully, in the previous episode, rather, we successfully ended the comrade, tripartite. The comrade part of the season was a very eccentric episode, if I do say so myself. Feels like just yesterday or a few hours ago that I recorded it. But anyway, we are starting the second tripartite of the season. We'll be looking at the nerd culture community from the eyes of creative professionals. So we're gonna have more serious conversations, more, professional conversations, if you feel me. Yeah, and with me in the studio today is one of my favorite entrepreneurs, one of my favorite startup CEOs. I got it top.
Wow, all this for me. No.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Presley F.A. Samuel. I hope I got that right. Junior, I forgot Junior.
I feel my dad somewhere wondering, who's that?
Oh, I better go ahead, but okay. Hello. Just tell us about yourself a bit.
Okay, so like he rightly or almost rightly said, I am Presley F.A. Samuel Jr., also known as the photo priest in some spaces. Yeah, I'm a photographer, music enthusiast, creative nerd, and I'm a foodie. So, for the food community. And I run a community called The Gathering. It's a community of creatives based in Port Harcourt. And we are all about collabing, creating, and connecting.
This first episode of the professional creatives aspect of the season, I've titled it Startups and Event Hosting, which is something that's very particular to Effie because his company is, first and foremost, a startup that capitalizes on hosting events. So, I mean, it's a match made in heaven, And so I think we'll just start off with some simple gist, Actually, let's just start with something very profound. Amongst the numerous options of reasons or realizations you have to come into before you embark on a creative business, what is one that stands out the most to you? What's the most profound realization you have to have as a person before you embark and say, I want to start a creative business?
Right. So, wow.
Okay.
So let's. I'll just make a reference back to one of Deep's album. Yeah, the one realization, very profound, that you are all alone in this together. You're alone in this. Once you realize that, once you know this, that when you start, you're going to be alone. So you must be ready to count your losses and then move on. So resilience, you gotta realize that more. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Trust me.
I think I can relate to that because when I started off my business and stuff, also we started up as a group of friends. We had a bit of cutting. We had a bit of friction rather.
Oh yeah.
Breaking off, and I think what really helped me now to manage the situation very well was when I realized that I'm the only one that's enthusiastic about what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And as such, now only me really they carry majority of the
last
for my head. So
you did. That's it. Because at the initial beginning, you feel like okay, this idea is great, this idea is wonderful. My guys, they'll catch the vibe. But at the end of the day, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just you holding a flashlight, hitting that. Come on, what's happening? So at the end of the day, you are all alone in this together. So don't feel bad, don't feel shitty. It happens. It's even better it happens on time, early before.
I can so relate to that because our own happened, or my own happened rather just before I released our first ever comic book.
Yeah.
I realized that I have to set the pace, because now maybe they carry this whole thing. And that's not like a bragging rights thing. It's more like I said, a profound realization you have to come into before you embark or while you're embarking in a creative venture. Because, you have to understand that, first and foremost, creative ventures capitalize on creativity.
Yeah.
And if there's no constant source of creativity, and general proactiveness, the creative business will plummet. Will generally die for you trying to speak big English. And so when I came into that realization, I was like, nah. I have to stop, whining about people not helping out.
Exactly.
You want to say something?
Yeah, back at the gathering, when we started off, I have a partner, two of us. Each time or every time we always remind ourselves, last, now only we today. Because you start wondering why are these people why are they dull? Why are they not catching the vibe any longer? But you realize that people, you can't really blame people when they stop flowing, responding, because you're the one that
did it. You're the one that said,
have the idea. It's not the original idea. It's up to you to own your stuff and make sure that you do everything that is necessary to come through, to pull it off.
Yeah, the wokeness will be transferred slowly.
Exactly.
Slowly, before it will take some time before other people get woke as well.
So just like a cancer, it takes time. It's of the cells and all that. So
I mean, we could spend hours on this particular.
I tell you. So you're all alone.
But let's move on to the next small gist. From an objective standpoint, what are a few principles, associated with starting up a creative business in Nigeria, as if it was without thing? Not just starting up a creative business anywhere else, but in Nigeria. Principles. Simple principles.
Okay, I'll start with the first one. Resilience. You have to know that when you start, as you start off, you have to be ready to stretch or be stretched, because trust me, the whole system in Nigeria is designed to frustrate you.
Preach it.
Yeah, it's designed to frustrate you, down from childbirth down to when you die. It's not easy for anyone, so you have to be ready to be stretched, all right? Because the system, like I said, is designed to frustrate you. So you just have to have that strong resilience to just keep on at what you're doing. And then consistency. Need that, because there are a lot of startups, creative startups that were, that kicked off in the past, but they're nowhere to be found today. And it's not really easy because you get little funding. Zero funding most times. Most of the funding comes from family, personal pockets. So all these factors. So you have to have strong resilience, consistency and just a creative mindset of how what's the word, spontaneity, or what's the word for winging it? You just have to.
Spontaneity is a word for it.
But I'm looking for the word. I think there's a word for it. You just have to think on the spot, on the go, be flexible. There's a word I'm looking for. There's a word wow.
Well, I get it. You have to be able to be on your toes and be quick to adjust.
Switch paths.
Let me give you an example now. When the guy that was with me kind of left what we were doing, I had to start adjusting a bit to his roles. Not to say he was doing that much, but even at that, the little help I was getting, I wasn't getting anymore. So I had to adjust. And not just even that scenario. I think another very good scenario to use is when I was making my KPIs for the year. This year I was going to do that, and then down the line I found out that plans will change you. And on the spot I have to I have to feel bad, console myself, and then restructure plans on the same moment.
I think I remember the word versatile. You have to
be versatile.
You have to be versatile, because this part may not work, so you have to know, okay, if it's not working, where do I switch to? Because most times as a startup, creative startup, what you started off as may not be what you end up as. Do you get? So just a building.
I started off just being a writer in our small group, and then before I know it, they want me to be the head or everything. Well, it's not like they wanted me. It's more like it was a necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that guy. Like, and this whole mindset that Nami must be the CEO. I must be the CEO. Like your strength might not be to be. Everybody feels that. Okay, everybody wants to be a CEO.
Yeah.
When we set up a business, everybody wants to be CEO of the company. And that's even one of the major problems I had. But we don't understand that, truly, when I set up a business, the ability to understand what is necessary for the business per time, is imperative. Like you were telling me the other day how you don't call yourself a CEO, you call yourself the lead creative director.
Yeah.
And I understand that, in the sense that what your company needs right now is not a chief executive officer, but somebody that is heavy in the creative department. And I get that versatility is by far one of the most keen and important things to have quality-wise when venturing into a business. So anyway, let's walk through what we've said already.
Yeah.
You said resilience.
Yeah, consistency,
versatility.
Yeah.
My guy, this is gold, honestly.
Yeah, man.
And what is really, really tripping is how you are so young and yet you're so woke.
Like it's a bit surprising.
You're so woke, guy. So, but anyway, let's move on to the next discussion. Okay, this is more like a personal opinion, question based on your observation.
Yeah.
Do you feel that we are starting creative businesses properly in Nigeria? Do you think that individually and collectively, people are actually starting creative business properly, like the way they should be starting? Personal opinion.
Well, looking back, personal opinion, I would say a yes and a no.
Okay.
Because creative businesses, first of all, I don't want to say they're capital intensive, but they are capital intensive based on you have to get like your gears.
Yes.
Especially the ones that have to do with equipment, and then the people too as well, getting the right people. And one thing about creative businesses in as much as they're built on ideas, they are also value oriented. Alright?
Yeah, value oriented.
Because if you're starting a creative business, there are a lot of stakeholders, and you have to carry everyone along in a way that everybody gets, value for what they're doing, no matter how little or insignificant.
Definitely understand that.
So just like an animation studio, I want to use that. Alright, there's a lot of work, background processes, and then for fashion houses too as well. So if you ask me, I don't think we're really there yet. We're trying, but we're not really there yet until we can, offer value to every stakeholder. You understand?
This
carry everybody along.
I'm so eager to concur with you, honestly. So I'm not eager to
my personal opinion.
I agree. I think one of the wrong. I think yes, you're right. For the most part, we are trying.
Yeah.
But the thing that stands out the most for the no, the no aspect of your answer is this lack of giving everybody some level of indicator that they too are bringing value and they are valued in what we're doing. Even my big guys, them. I try my best every day to explain to them that what we are doing, we will all enjoy the chief kills at the end of the day. The games of war, so to speak.
And I just even remember something. One last principle I forgot to mention that still would applies to this question you asked. So sacrifices at the initial beginning. So willing to kanayo.
I think sacrifice is
be prepared to give sacrifices. You need that.
Things like, and I think again that's another thing that's
you don't need to put the money first.
That's another thing that
people
are doing wrongly. In setting up businesses, they don't understand that
you need to make sacrifices.
You have to be ready to, in the long run, you have to be ready to really. I have the word in my head, but
sell yourself all out.
You have to sell yourself, deny yourself a lot of things.
Privileges.
I'm not talking about even just buying new clothes or buying big clothes, but your time. You have to deny yourself the propensity to be lackadaisical and just generally. What's the word I'm looking for? Nonchalant about things. Because if you lose your grip on what you're doing, nobody else is holding it. It will fall, honestly. And that is one of the bad things that happen in creative business. Yeah, go on.
And one thing I've also observed personally, most creative businesses in Nigeria, using my local environment, Port Harcourt. I don't know. It seems like I'm anti PhD, but the truth is what it is. Do you understand? So the thing is, most creative businesses do not have like a clear cut out plan.
I was waiting for that.
Honestly,
I was waiting for that.
So what do you gain? What do you wish to achieve in the next 5 years?
Nothing. There's
no business plan. There's no business plan. And we're always, one thing about creative businesses or any business, you have to stay true to yourself.
Yes.
Most times they come up with fancy ideas, just to wish-wash us and patronize us. But at the end of the day, you see that in the next 2 years, this startup is doing something entirely different
from what they set out to do.
So it's crazy.
The term is enthronement. When the word enthronement means to be way more, like happy and giddy about the idea than the actual, the actuality of what you're about to do. People fall in love with that end goal.
Yeah,
they fall in love with that.
It's a process,
that place like that, and I think what I wanted to say is that it's a fundamentally Nigerian thing.
Yeah,
we have
there's no plan. There's just fancy ideas.
Everybody wants to have a big car.
I want hammer.
Everybody wants to.
I want blow.
Build house in their village.
Yeah, but
everybody wants to do something big, but nobody is even specific as to what exactly they will do that day.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to be a rich man. What are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
It's like we're given to just saying, I'll be the biggest company, Forbes.
Exactly. And it's crazy because at the gathering, because the gathering is still a young startup here, we're still experimenting with a couple of models and you understand. So there was a period where I was just all out on the internet researching, trying to get some, info about communities, and I started seeing that the UN has like an entire arm for creative businesses, the creative sector, and their stakeholders in these sectors. So I just got to realize that we don't even, until when I saw that, I didn't even know that, okay, this is where I fit in as a creative business or creative startup. This is where I fit in. This is where I stand to benefit from. So you need to identify all those things. And then I saw creative business plans, business models. This is not for oil and gas now or tech. Creative business.
Yeah,
plans.
I mean, what's up with that hidden stereotype that we have that creative businesses cannot be organized, in such an executive.
I mean, their business models.
I feel like if you're starting a creative business in Nigeria or in this day and age rather, and you're not aware that creative businesses should be treated with the same level of professionalism that businesses are treated, then you might have to go back and do a bit of a questioning.
You see where the problem lies here. Everybody always they keep complaining about no funding. Zero funding. I mean, it's all cliche now. Yes, there are no funds, but if you check elsewhere, there's a startup or there was a startup that had that problem and they've moved on.
Yeah.
So one fundamental problem is research.
Yeah, I think let's start this down. The first fundamental problem is that
research.
We don't like to find out.
Yeah, no research. Zero research.
And that's what's messing up startup,
Exactly. Because if you had researched or if you research properly, you see that there are fundraising ideas that are out there on the internet. If you look at even the Boy Scouts, for crying out loud, they have fundraising ideas.
We're really inhibited by our own interests.
Yeah. So it's crazy. There are ways to raise funds, and then like what I said, when you identify the stakeholders or the sector where you fit in, you're able to understand, okay, who are the players? What can we offer as value?
I get that.
And then
first wrong thing in the no aspect is that we don't know enough.
Yeah, we don't know.
And I think the second thing for me, if you excuse me to say second, because I know the question was addressed to you.
Yeah, no problem.
But the second thing is that I feel that what's what I'm looking for. How did you just say it now? I feel that creative businesses are not addressed with the same level of seriousness as other businesses.
Yes.
You understand that the principles of entrepreneurship are ubiquitous. What works in oil and gas has its own equivalent in a creative business.
and there's a shocker. I'll shock you because I'm also a victim. I'm still trying to like get out of that phase, and move on and conquer. Most creatives are bad business people, business-minded people.
Yes,
Stuck at business. So there's a creative side
and there's a business side.
So most of us in law are the business side and focus more on the creative side. So it's not all about I have a dream. How do you materialize that dream into something that will pay your bills?
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand that even though it's a very beautiful goal and idea and a dream, there's the lucrative aspect.
Exactly.
There's the logistical aspect. There's the the business side, the side that involves finances and marketing.
And guess what? There are materials all over the internet.
I mean, okay, sorry to interrupt.
Crazy.
Please, people. I can't stress this enough. Royal Cook, the CEO of Uni Studios, he has a business module like series on his app where he communicates different imperative information concerning how to start a creative business. Like, this is not even a matter of guidelines. This guy walks you step by step on how to actualize your creative business goal. Like, he shows you marketing, shows you financing, shows you legislative, aspects and stuff like that. So just check that out. This did not pay me. I just have to stress that because I don't think I've seen any material like that, for Nigerians especially. Yeah, I don't see them saying like that. But anyway, sorry, Effie, back to you. Honestly, I'm enjoying this.
Oh, no problem. No P.
So okay, we stressed on the fact that people don't really see it as a business.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any bad thing we're doing wrong in starting up creative businesses here in Nigeria?
Okay. So one more thing. The thing is that at the initial starts or initially we all want to start that business and blah blah. But we're not looking forward to even building brands that would outlive us as owners. So Gucci is there.
Yeah.
It's been there for a while. There I see they are up to like, if not half a century years old or a century, like most of them are like 100 years old. They are still there. The value systems. What are your values?
Yeah, they continually trying to do something that everybody can benefit from.
Exactly. How do you like blend in, moving with the trends and the timelines? So the thing is that you can actually blend in without losing your original values.
Yeah.
But the problem of most creative businesses or startups in Nigeria is that at the initial beginning, or at the beginning,
I'm thinking that
there's no clear-cut identified value.
I want to concern them.
But you need to identify your values. You understand? Something that will help. And most businesses have not, identified them.
Honestly, this is again another topic that we can stress on for only God knows how long.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to keep this podcast as brief as possible.
Oh.
Let's move on to the next question. Okay, this one is coming more to the event side because remember this podcast is about the creative startups and event hosting.
Yeah.
So relate the fundamental and institutional nature of hosting events, to the contribution of. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that question.
Oh, wow.
Relates the fundamental and institutional nature that hosting events has on promoting a cause or movement to the rise of nerd entertainment in the industry. Forgive the English. What I'm trying to say is, we know that whenever something wants to be given proper accentration, there's an event hosted in it. Whenever a movement or an industry or anything at all is to be given this kind of presence, it is institutionalized in the sense that it is giving some sort of celebration, like tradition. Let's give an example. In the movie industry, what really cements the movie industry are the awards, the academy, all these people there. When a group of people come together and decide that what we want to do is celebrate the wins happening in this industry, that industry is institutionalized. So that's what events really does. Now, how would you relate that concept to the growth of nerd entertainment industry here in Nigeria? Because I feel like events is even what is even giving the industry any name.
Right. So okay. So the nerd, culture in Nigeria is almost obsolete. Like, it's just there on the ground. It's there, but it's just like they're like cells, sleeper cells.
Yeah.
Everybody like that. So events like the Comic Con and other nerd related events, it gives these people a sense of belonging. One, and they get to like meet other people just like them. Because when you go out and you see that I'm not so odd, I'm not so different after all, it gives you this sense of pride, and it kinds of it boosts your morale too. That means I can do more. I'm not as crazy as I thought. So it actually like re-energizes the
motif.
And the nerd juice. This is the juice.
I think even when I was writing this question, what I was thinking was that I wrote a blog post. I even featured the gathering in that blog post. The ending part, I was telling people that like the pool is stirred. People are becoming more vocal about their nerd entertainment interests. And celebrating abstract media. A lot of things that we found more in the Western society. And the reason why, generally, my entire blog was talking about the reason why this is happening, especially in the South, more particularly to the South, is because events are happening back to back to celebrate, our love for abstract media, and it is drawing other followers. And generally, I think that's the power of event hosting, like I said. You see something.
And sorry to cut you, I just remembered something. Events tell the story. You said that in a way when it started. And while we're doing all these events for nerd culture and nerd related arts, we're also documenting them. Which is a very vital part.
I think I didn't really realize it or see.
We're documenting them. You get, because whenever we gather, we're going to take pictures, we're going to take videos, we're going to talk about the people that we're celebrating, we're going to talk about their works, and we're going to put them in media format. So our kids get to see them, people outside the continent get to see them.
Essentially,
get to spread the story.
Storing the fire, generally. Essentially, like we're encapsulating it, we're keeping it all.
California got nothing on this. Wildfire.
I think bringing it back to home, event hosting in Nigeria, is something that, first of all, it is, again, using the word ubiquitous, is general among every single form of endeavor. If you want to give something any form of attention, give it a festival. Give it a day.
Immortalize it.
Give it something, or create an organization that is in charge of just making people know about it, generally. And so, I would say that, generally, what is even leading the advancement of the nerd culture generally in Nigeria? Like you said, nerd culture is barely anywhere. It's not something that's fundamentally a part of our own culture. It's not something we do. So what is even giving it some sort of relevance and rising are the events that are being hosted. And when I say nerd events or nerd entertainment, I'm not just talking about cartoons and stuff, but like I said before, abstract media is a general term for intellect, creativity, and imagination. And generally event hosting is steering people into that path. We say something.
And then when you host events, then, and for people that don't know about these guys or nerds, they'll be like, who are these guys? Like, who those guys? Who those boys? Like, they are being celebrated. So they go back and they check about these people, and then you get to see that, so there's been a thing such as this since all this while. Where have I been? So it gives, you understand?
It brings people back, giving accolades to people that are really a lot in the industry. And most importantly, it also steers people in the direction of these new possibilities.
There's markets there.
I was speaking to the CEO of Hypercreative Network. By the way, Hypercreative Network are the organizers of the first Comic Con in PH City, and she was telling me about how all these events and rising nerd culture appreciation here in the South will open an entire new possibility or realm of possibilities for a career path, creative career paths. Long gone are the days where we wake up and we say we want to be doctors. We go to school and we say we want to be doctors. I believe that, as she said, this propagation of nerd culture, especially through events, will really get people thinking about, I could be a writer, I could be a photographer. Photography is really appreciated, but there are even forms of photography.
They're not appreciated.
But there are forms of photography that are not even given attention. You often the other day, there are a lot of sub-genres that permit me to say in photography that people don't care. Everybody's caring about just taking picture.
Portraits, really. No street photography, documentary.
We don't care about lots. They only care about
wildlife.
Weddings.
Yeah, weddings. I tell you.
Only care about weddings, but yeah, wildlife. I mean, who is the top wedding? Who is the top wildlife photographer in Nigeria? Who is the top street photographer in Nigeria? Even if there is somebody like that, there is no form of accentuation of like celebrating recognition. Forgive me. And basically, event hosting is creating that a whole new realm of possibilities.
And it's an industry on its own.
Yeah,
events.
Yeah, event hosting is an industry. In fact, the next question is something that is related to that. I think we'll just get to that. The next question is the implications of more event hosting companies in Nigeria. I think this is the final question because that's where my fear is. With every pro, there's a con. Yes, event hosting is basically the spearhead of nerd culture accentuation and creativity appreciation. But it's not possible that we can overdo it. Nigerians have a way of just wanting to follow us blowing. It now becomes a major, like everybody is hosting events. Now, the other day, I saw one weave stuff, like in the past 2 weeks, I've seen like 400 events in PHCT alone. I'm like, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, it was just Comic-Con. Now everybody wants to host an event. What are the implications of that in the industry? What do you think that would do?
So, as usual, in everything we do, they always fix. Right? So there are a lot of people, pirates. I don't know if that's the right word. There are a lot of people that would just feel that as they do, I'm blessing money they here. Make we try to do our own now, and then they monetize it. And politicize it. And loses its original relevance.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Then you start celebrating jokes. Do you understand? That's the con. It becomes too random and not appreciated enough. So the question is, which I may not be able to answer now, is how is it possible that we still have awards or events like the Grammys still running?
Yeah.
How is it possible that we still have festivals like Cannes and Sundance Film Festival still relevant to today? Or Hollywood Star Walk?
Yeah, with the number of adulterations, I think it's where you're heading out with. How is it that these guys are still standing out, and with the multitude of adulterations
and Paris Fashion Week? All right. So if we can answer those questions, or when we can answer those questions, there's something those guys know that we don't. There's this exclusivity. This how do I put it?
Shut the voice.
I'm telling you, like there's something like that keeps it there, like exclusivity, I think.
And I think generally, even still riding on this idea of the effect of everybody saturating the event hosting industry, I believe that people will now begin to think deeper and even begin to search for that exclusivity you're talking about.
And then another question: why is it possible that with all the football tournaments, nobody's able to do something as big as the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, again. Still within the context of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With a saturation, comes the need to stand out more profoundly.
Yes, standing out.
Yeah, so people will begin to question more and more,
and your credibility too as well.
Yeah, people begin to question, and like what I was trying to say was that people begin to event hosters will begin to think deeper. And I guess at the end of the day, even though saturation of any industry is something that I don't really I still understand that competition creates an increase in standard.
But then again, the good part, the pro is that we have the originals.
Yeah, the people that started the ones first,
So it's just like giving an award meant for Pablo Picasso to some jerk-off on the road. The originals, alright? The people who truly know what art is. There are sub-communities in this event. Nerd culture is a community. The anime culture, the art community too as well. They have communities. So when you start giving it to jokes, you're going to lose your relevance.
Yeah.
People will stop patronizing you automatically. So in as much as there's going to be saturation and all that, the originals will always be the originals, and they know where to,
Yeah. So, okay, I think I'm really even thinking about how to end this podcast because I'm actually fresh out of questions. Honestly. But I don't know. I feel like we have to end it on a high note.
Oh yeah.
So, but anyway, have any last words you want to like leave before we go, like encapsulating every single thing we've said? Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just advise everybody like planning on starting something. Just stay true to yourself. Have a plan. Find the right people to work with, because at the initial start here, everybody gets enthusiastic, excited, but excitement won't really take you too far.
Yeah, being enthralled.
Yeah, it won't really take you too far. So at the initial start, you feel that these people really, I was about to use one word that I think is sensible. They really, they understand me, they flow with me and all that. But the truth is that they're just excited. So eventually you find out. So just have a plan. Stay true to your dreams. Don't get batted around like a tennis ball. You get. And remember, most importantly, you're alone at the end of the day. You're alone.
That was deep, guy. So anyway, thank you so much, Efe, for coming to my podcast. Honestly, you really started off this second part of the podcast so well. You've said I'm looking forward to what other speakers will say, but I'm really happy that you started us off.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Bringing it back home. I think I want to stress a bit on the gathering. The gathering is a community-oriented organization. FA keeps talking that they are a community, but it's more of an organization that is heavy on, growing a community, and that's very profound. I believe that when people stop thinking about just a single product they can propagate and start thinking about how to generally create a space for all products to fit in, they place themselves in a special place. And I wrote a bit about the gathering in a blog post I wrote called the Rise of Nerd Enthusiasm in the South. I think I called it them nerds from the South. And I really feel that should really plug into what the gathering is doing, because essentially the gathering is pioneering the very thing that will accentuate nerd culture in Nigeria, which is creating a community. Together we are stronger. And I don't mean that in a cliche manner. I mean that in a literal manner. There's a lot of things that we lack here that Igbo people have, but the only way to really, I won't say catch up with them, but still have the standard that you should have. Generally, like bare minimum that you should have. I feel like the only way to really reach that is begin to push a more community-oriented mentality.
Yeah. Strong communities,
open
communities.
Yeah, honestly.
Because we're not a secret society, because they're not like strong points you made right there. Because if you look at the West, they have strong public communities, very open, very, very vocal.
And it's even more imperative for us that we didn't even have anything to start with.
Yeah.
Without our forefathers are not as far as we think. I mean, they are still alive, So I think let's capitalize on that. Join group chats, especially OMNI-NERD has a Discord server. So join group chats, especially if you're a creative. If you're a nerd or brother, a fanboy, fangirl, joining group chats is a normal thing. But as a creative, trying to plug in into different groups and stuff, and plug into things like the gathering, people that are community oriented. Let me not take any much of your time. Thank you so much. Please follow the gathering on Instagram,
Facebook, Twitter, gathering community, and that's all for now. We have our website too as well, www.thegathering.com.ng. We're there.
So till I meet you again, whenever I see you again, deuces, peace.